Good morning, everybody. I'm T, so I'm usually behind the camera, but you know, we switched up this morning. Where are we at? Well, we're in Louisville, or Louisville. I don't know which is it. I'll usually get destroyed. But we're here for the Funeral Directors Association of Kentucky convention, which is going on later on today. And we'll pitch over to Ryan right now and see if he says Louisville or Louisville, and he'll give us information what we're doing this week. So, Ryan?
I'm really happy that guy helped that other guy, man. Made me feel good about humanity for a split second.
For a split second?
Split second, I felt good about humanity and that there's just good people out there because that guy helped the other guy when his car broke down.
Did him a solid. Did him a solid.
Kentucky Expo Center for the Kentucky Funeral Directors Convention. We're here for the convention.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. We'll entertain you. You'll learn something tomorrow. We'll show you how we do it tomorrow. We'll show you some case studies, how we're driving a lot of leads. And yeah, good. See you tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you, everyone, for how things have been going. We're like 8 weeks into the 12 weeks that I'm going to be gone. So thank you all for handling your duties, getting along, doing the right thing, handling client things, making decisions without me. That has been fantastic. So thank you, very grateful. All right, cool. Thank you guys. Have fun. Don't get too crazy. But thanks for keeping it all together. Thanks for serving our clients well. It's extremely appreciated, and other people are noticing. We get a lot of compliments and a lot of followers that are not clients of ours that keep tabs on what happens in our office, the content we share. So kudos, appreciate you all. Thankful you're on our team. Thanks for sharing the vision, and I will see you Friday morning.
All right, see ya.
Peace.
Bye.
You lose when you do not adjust. The problem is, we live one way as human beings, and we market in completely separate ways. So, this is some audience participation. How many of you, don't lie, how many of you primarily watch all of your video through Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, YouTube, or on-the-go service like a HBO Now, Showtime Now, raise of hands? All right, so look around. In vlog, I'm gonna talk to you for a second. 80% of them primarily watch all their videos streamed through the internet, which means that a lot of you who raised your hand that primarily only watch video through those services are running television commercials when nobody is watching, including yourself. And for the 8% of you that didn't raise your hand and you watch regular television, when a commercial comes on, what do? You grab this, right? Nobody is watching. But we continue to do things and we continue to market in ways that we personally don't even engage ourselves. And if you give the consumer options, now you're giving them value. And when you give them value, they trust you more. And when they trust you, they're gonna use you and they're gonna listen to what you have to say. And then that buzzword of direct cremation, which the majority of consumers have no idea what that really means, is gonna turn into an in-depth conversation about, yeah, we want cremated, but what about that service we're gonna have? Or what about that celebration that we're gonna have? So absolutely. But thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. This is actually my first time in the state of Wisconsin. So Interesting. I haven't seen anything yet. We didn't get into like 1:30 last night. It was pretty dark, so looking forward to this evening, driving around, seeing what's out here. So just for a little context for me, how many of you have no idea who I am? Never heard me speak? Holy smokes, shoot. All right, so we create the content for our clients, we post it, we monitor it, and then we measure it. Analytics are a heavy part of what we do, and you'll see in this presentation a lot of data that we're able to pull to really pinpoint exactly why social media, specifically Facebook, is so valuable for funeral homes. So obviously the reason that I'm here is because your association has realized that the conversation is changing. The way that we engage with brands now is vastly different than it was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Or the way that consumers engage with brands, everything has changed. The problem is, in the funeral space, we have not changed along with the consumer. And what we need to understand is that the consumer does not change their buying habits and the way they research product and the way they connect with brands simply because it's death care. They expect to be able to engage with the funeral home the exact same way that they can engage with a realtor or a car dealer. Their buying habits do not change. The way they shop for a house or a car or a casket is exactly the same. So just because we're in the death care space doesn't mean that we're exempt from having to evolve and change based on what the consumer demands are. According to NFDA, 80% of funeral homes, business comes from word of mouth and previous families that you've served. So it's very relationship-driven business. Eyeballs and attention allowed you to build relationships. So you are a media company first, funeral home second. You have to have eyeballs and you have to have attention to have more business. Because with online, now we can have a competitor that can come in the marketplace. Even though you own 80% of the call volume as a traditional funeral home, you're leaving the door wide open for somebody to come in and go in the back door with online and be able to grab attention from the consumer, start having conversations with consumers that you forgot about because you're spending all your time marketing traditionally, and you've captured that market share and you're doing very well, but you're very vulnerable on the backside because you haven't started engaging online, and that leaves the door wide open for somebody to come in and do that. So the faster you realize that your business is a media company, the more better off you're going to be able to succeed in the next 10 to 15 years, because that is where business is going, online, and people are engaging and having those conversations through social media. Awesome. I'll hang out for a little bit if anyone wants to talk one-on-one, but thank you for having me. Another great way to kind of articulate that not every funeral has to be cookie cutter. So this is a campaign that we used with a client. We sent them a guide of how to shoot video really easily with their smartphone. A cheap mic they could buy on YouTube or on Amazon, and a little light they could buy. So for under $100 they could shoot great video. We had them sit every funeral director down, ask them what their meaning of what their definition of a meaningful ceremony was. What organically is going to happen is that every funeral director is going to have a different definition of what a funeral and meaningful ceremony is. You show that content, and then we did a follow-up video after that, just said, look, even the professionals don't have a clear-cut definition of what a funeral should be. Because a funeral can be whatever you want it to be, and it doesn't have to be cookie cutter. And then they had a few pictures that we posted with that were more, they set up a bowling alley in the funeral home for a guy that was a bowler, or they'll stage around the casket and have the casket there but closed and take a picture of the blankets and the baseball uniform and some of those things. And
yeah, we do tons of that. We do a Halloween thing where we're all dressed up and we give
gotta
community free food.
Got to be able to document some of that stuff. If there was a message that came through, or a comment, or a question that was asked through Facebook. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Have one of those cool business cards?
You absolutely can. Yeah, shoot me an email, call my cell phone. We'll set up a time online to do a demo and
Okay.
get you rolling.
Thank you.